What up, everybody? Welcome to a busy 12-game Wednesday. I better put the tweet out that I made. All right, we got 78 players out, 23 questionable tags. It's going to be a roller coaster. I'm feeling good. I got the printing press background because we're going 78% on props in the last week. It's been our best week maybe of my life. But yeah, with Jay Fan, super pumped filling in for Dink. How you doing, man?
Doing well. This is a pretty busy slate, a lot to get through. So yeah, man, let's dive right in.
Yeah, so let's start with the kind of new news, and that is Sabonis suspended for a game here. So yeah, they don't have Rashawn Holmes either, who has been a Nuggets killer, which is interesting. I actually bet Denver on this news, but um, yeah, with Jones, they've been kind of going to him, and they still got Alex Len. So Chimezie Metu maybe comes back in the rotation, maybe play some five there. How do you think they handle guarding Jokic?
Yeah, it'll be a big task. Obviously, I think Damian Jones, Len, and Matthew, like you said. I also interested to see if Harkless is available, if he slides right back in the starting lineup ahead of Trey Lyles, who gets the nod there. Kind of takeaways. Love this for Jokic, obviously, and then De'Aaron Fox and that matchup against likely Monte Morris, and then
Yep.
Harrison Barnes too should see a nice usage bump as well. So winners from this: Fox, Barnes, Jokic. I don't know if you want to dig too deep into like Damian Jones, Alex Len.
Yeah.
It's probably going to just be a committee, and
Hmm.
whoever doesn't get into foul trouble, more of a kind of a hot handish approach. I think it's a little, thin, especially on this biggest slate. So
Yeah.
I kind of stick to the bigger names on this spot.
Yeah, I'm with you. Harrison Barnes actually played pretty well against Aaron Gordon in the last game, so I don't think Gordon's really that intimidating. Hasn't really looked quite the same. We've seen him slow down some guys, so I actually put a little prop down on De'Aaron Fox and Barnes on MGM when that was still up. I feel pretty good about that hitting. Shout out to CJ McCollum. My MGM account is quite fat now. Not as fat as yours, but yeah, I think that kind of covered. Let's just hit Denver while we're here. Will Barton questionable. We saw him roll his ankle. Didn't think it looked too bad. Didn't play in
Yeah.
the last game. Was a back to back. Did kind of go through some pregame stuff. We saw Austin Rivers start and play pretty well. I think he got the Defensive Player of the Game award, if I remember, over Jeff Green. What do you think Barton's chances of playing are? Also, Zeke Naji questionable, and Bones Highland also questionable. So could be a little thin in the backcourt.
Yeah, I think there's a good chance Barton plays. I think it's
Mhm.
probably more precautionary they held him out. That for the rest of that one. So we haven't really got any updates on him. I don't really have a strong read. I
Mhm.
was actually at that game. I didn't see anything too concerning when it
Mhm.
happened. So yeah, we'll see. Biggest beneficiaries probably Monty
Mhm.
for if Barton doesn't go. Getting a little bit more usage in that starting unit. But yeah, I think we can kind of move on this one. I think there's a ton of takeaways here.
Yeah, I agree. Let's get to, I guess, the biggest player on the injury report. That's LeBron James. We saw him miss the last game for a new injury. We saw him go to the locker room in the Golden State game over the weekend when he had that crazy game. We had some somewhat concerning quotes from Frank Vogel talking about his knee and not feeling right and all that stuff. Gonna be game time, I think. So this is not the usual LeBron questionable tag, obviously. How's your lean here on LeBron playing?
Yeah, I think there's a good chance he plays. So Vogel said on Monday they're hopeful that he'll play today, and he said that the knee soreness he's dealing with isn't nearly as severe as what he dealt with at the end of January when he missed 5 games. But you kind of take a step back. They're playing the
Yeah.
Rockets today, so this could be a spot where they maybe exercise a little bit of caution and hold him out. I could see that. So yeah, I was actually really surprised he ended up sitting out. Like
Yeah.
we were giving him the questionable tag with quotation marks because
Mhm.
before that game he played in the last 8 times he was questionable. He played in all 8. So
Mhm.
yeah, we'll see. Obviously, this is a great spot. Either way, the Rockets have been the league's worst defense in any
Mhm.
sort of time frame, full season, last 15, last 10, they're the 30th
Yeah.
defense, no matter how you slice it. So if LeBron goes, I like the spot a lot for him, like the spot for Malik Monk. And if LeBron ends up sitting out, you got to look at Russell Westbrook. Uh,
Yeah.
it pains me to say that, but you got to look at Russ against these guards. You just want to, cannot get any better of a spot against these
Yeah.
guards, honestly. And then you got to look at like THT, and then Malik Monk becomes a really awesome play, even better than if LeBron plays. So this is it has to be one of the best spots on the slate just because of this Rockets defense.
Yeah, freaking Westbrook, man. I had a prop on him when LeBron got rolled out, and I was like, oh, this is smash. Only to score 18 points.
Yeah.
My man shoots it 14 times, 13 times from the line. He can't score 18 points, dude. He's been bad, but as you alluded to, these two teams are like the worst at rim and 3-point defenses combined. Like they're the only two teams that are like near the top 5 in allowing those shot frequencies. They're like analytics guys' dream. So as you said, this is the perfect spot for Westbrook. I did a pod yesterday doing like the easiest matchups to attack for perimeter players, and Rockets are number 1.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, this has to be if Westbrook, I mean,
if he can't get it done here without,
he can't get he's getting benched. I think. But I'm with you. I think Malik Monk's really interesting. He's probable, but it's only a contusion, so he should be good. A lot of upside here. I think. Do you think they start small? I don't think they need the size of Dwight Howard. I think they would go Stanley Johnson.
Yeah,
maybe even without LeBron. With LeBron, they think they would definitely. Do that.
Especially when you look at the other side, and we can cover Houston. That I think they're going to be pretty small today too. So I definitely don't think they need size in this matchup. Obviously, the Şengün is like the biggest size they'll have, likely. But yeah, I think they can get away with going smaller here.
Yeah, so do you want to set up the Rockets here? We know we got some shoot around notes.
Yeah. So we actually got a good amount of information from them this morning. So Garrison Matthews said he's in. Eric Gordon is off the injury report, so those two are good to go. Dennis Schroeder went through a long series of shooting drills. He played some one-on-one with Şengün after shoot around. Most demanding in-game workout or game day workout that he's had since he sprained his ankle. But he said he'll be a game time decision. So I would lean a little bit, probably more towards probable, though. Schroeder saying he's a game time decision isn't exactly confidence inspiring, but he has a good chance of playing. Christian Wood, Jae'Sean Tate did not go through shoot around, so that's obviously really concerning for them. So we could see massive spots for Şengün and KJ Martin if Christian Wood and Jae'Sean Tate end up sitting out. The Rockets really thin up front without those two. Garuba still out. I think they might have to play some, I don't know, a handful of Bruno Fernando minutes potentially if those two are out. So clear value here if those two end up being ruled out. I think they're very iffy, Jae'Sean Tate and Christian Wood. KJ Martin and Şengün would be the biggest beneficiaries by far.
Yeah, they went teeny tiny in some spots in this Miami game. I think at one point they ran KPJ, Jalen Green, Knicks. And then another guard. Oh, Christopher. Yeah, like they went real small. So I think they would do it again. In a matchup, you can certainly get away going small 1 through 4. So those guys, if all those guys aren't sitting, it could be big time. Jae'Sean Tate loves to play through injuries, man. He's had this ankle thing for a little bit. Definitely think he's got a good chance to sit. As you said, KJ Martin would be a really good play, in my opinion. We saw his minutes get elevated. Really capable player, and got some really good talk-up stuff from Silas, wanting him to shoot more. So he would be an awesome play in a matchup that we really like. I called my shot on matchups. If Christian Wood sits, I think Şengün's going for a career high.
Yeah,
I think Şengün just goes completely ham, especially if Tate doesn't play either. All right. Anything else on the Rockets?
More interested in KPJ or Jalen Green in the spot?
For sure, KPJ. His ball handling is really higher. They're running a bigger menu of plays for him. They're running like a lot of this, they're running a lot of they're running it with Wood. They're running with everybody. So I think KPJ's role is really expanded. His potential assists are going up. He's driving a little bit more than he was earlier this year. This has a better feel. You could just go to see he kind of is being more of a point guard. It's been, his turnovers aren't outrageous lately. So I'm definitely more into KPJ by quite a bit. Are you with me?
Yeah, totally.
Okay, cool. Okay, we got Chris Stouts back to back.
Yeah.
You guys. Yeah, cool. No surprise there. Let's get back to the news we thought was going to be big. It's kind of been overshadowed here. That's Fred VanVleet went through full practice, expected to play, got the Q tag. I mentioned in our Slack that Fred VanVleet and Anthony Edwards did the Spider-Man meme with their knee management. They basically okay, we're playing through stuff. Let's just sit out for a week. So how do you think FEV comes? I guess first question: how much of a minutes cap? We saw him return from injury and like play upper 30s. So how do you think his minutes look, and then who do you think is affected by his return?
Yeah, it's hard to really tell with Nick Nurse, right? Like he
Yeah.
has all these comments that are all over the map. Like, last week he said no timetable, then he
Hmm.
misses a game, he's back in the lineup. He said expected to play. Yeah, like, this is just all over the map, so it's really hard to tell. I would expect like pretty normal minutes for Van Vliet. I don't think they'd clear him to play if he wasn't good to go and give them, a pretty usual workload of his minutes. We'll see. Yeah, we should see Van Vliet, Trent Jr., Barnes, Siakam, and Birch, right? That'd be their starting
Hmm.
five. Boucher to the bench. Yeah, I still think this is a good spot. It's probably a spot where Siakam and Scotty Barnes maybe get dinged a little bit too much in people's minds when I think they'll still be okay given this
Hmm.
matchup. I'm not too convinced that Van Vliet's going to be completely effective just for the interim with him dealing with this knee issue. Like he's been dealing with it since the break, right? He rehabbed it during the break. He's still dealing with it, weeks later. So I still think Siakam and Barnes could be pretty productive given their matchups, especially here against the Spurs. They've been really leaky defensively. I think like Pirtle, like
Hmm.
last year, that this was a spot where I usually wouldn't go to, but the Spurs this year have been very different, just in
Yeah.
terms of where you look to attack them, especially up front.
Yeah, they're a rim attacking funnel, man. They're one of the highest teams in the NBA at allowing shots at the rim. So I actually think this could be a sneaky, like, obviously the usage could be affected. But as you kind of alluded to, when we saw Fred VanVleet playing earlier before he went down, Siakam's drives were like 18 a game. He was like attacking crazy because VanVleet was playing off the ball a lot. So I think Siakam could like really go ham on Keldon. So I kind of like him in a spot people may not think is good. Honestly, I think he's unaffected. And then Scotty Barnes, you're trading off usage, maybe a tick of playing time. But again, as you mentioned, like this team wants shots at the rim. And we've seen Scotty when he's on, he's scoring at the rim. Spurs play fast. We know the Raptors are really fast in transition. So like I think Scotty Barnes, I want to see some low lines with Van Vliet coming back. I'm gonna probably hit him.
Yeah.
Because I think it's really he's gonna have like having the size like he's gonna have a size advantage on him, man. And we know whenever Nurse sees a size advantage for Scotty Barnes, he's gonna give him the ball.
Hmm.
So I think Scotty Barnes is like really sneaky as someone who could put up numbers. But yeah, Gary Trent definitely affected more.
Yeah,
Spurs are a 3-point defense. Yeah,
totally.
Gary Trent's the only guy who's affected negatively in a big way, in my opinion, because especially since the Spurs are one of the better teams at limiting threes.
RIP those Gary Trent overs,
My
especially.
God,
That was a fun one when he got the free throws at the end to hit it for the
dude,
points.
career high free throws to get us to over. Thank goodness. Anything else? Do you want to hit? Let's hit Spurs, I guess, while we're here. So it looks like we got some guys back. How do you what how do you feel about Lonnie Walker and who am I forget? Vassell? You think
Yeah, yeah,
they're probably should be good to go, right?
yeah. Walker, Vassell available. Beta uh, base Geop and Romeo Langford both out. So yeah, I should kind of see what we've been used to seeing Vassell starting at the off guard. Um,
Hmm.
Lonnie with the sizable role off the bench. I don't really think this changes a whole lot for me. I'm not really looking at too many Spurs in this spot. DeJounte guy I usually love, but probably not
Hmm.
here. Yeah, anybody on the Spurs you like that stands out in particular?
Pirtle. Raptors are really bad at allowing offensive rebounds. Pirtle's one of the best offensive rebounders in the NBA. They're going to blitz the crap out of DeJounte, so that'd be a lot of clean rolls to the rim for him. So I do like Pirtle. Don't like McDermott. I just don't feel like all the size that Toronto's going to throw at them. I've got concerns. Although like he has upside because we know that the Raptors are like really vulnerable on those corner wing spots
Yeah.
that McDermott likes to camp out. So it's kind of like pure ceiling to like complete dud play. I think Keldon not having Kata Bates Diop is kind of big for Keldon. I hate the matchup for him, but I think the minutes could be really good.
Yeah, but with Jordan, it's always like he needs to get there on points to really have a ceiling,
Hmm.
right? I think like
Yeah.
a good game for McDermott is like, 15, 18 points, and then,
Yeah.
not much by way of supporting stats. Like you're hoping for like
Yeah.
25 fantasy points from him is more of a ceiling game. So yeah,
Yeah.
not just not interested enough in him with the
And I
supporting.
guess one question that we were talking about, Dank and I, like, how does Josh Richardson fit in this? Because he played freaking great in the last game, kind of called out of nowhere. He got a post game press conference, Pop talked him up a little bit. Do you think he's in the rotation today?
I think so. It
Hmm.
was. I think it was more like him trying to get his feet wet, and
Hmm.
Pop has been really, when they initially acquired him, he's like, we didn't even, have know nothing about him, and I think it took a while for him to get comfortable with playing in rotation minutes. So yeah,
Yeah.
after he got the spot start, played 30 and a half
Hmm.
minutes, I think he's definitely in the rotation now.
Yeah. Lakers defense, man. You gotta love the get right spots there. Okay, so got a ton of questionable tags with the Wolves. Sounds like Chris Finch said that everyone, at least D'Lo, after missing the last game for bilateral hamstring soreness. We know, as I mentioned, the Ant FEV management for his knee. Sounds like he's back. What's our expectations on how they're going to look, maybe minutes wise or anything along those lines?
Well, I think the limiting factor is their opponent. They're playing the Thunder in the second leg of a
Hmm.
back-to-back, and they're 14.5-point favorites, right? So we
Hmm.
saw this spot on Friday without Ant, and they beat the Thunder by 37 points. We
Yeah.
saw Cat put up a big line, 28-3 with 4 stocks in 25 minutes. So might be a little bit of the same, especially the way
Hmm.
Finch is talking up, like Anthony Edwards and D'Lo trending towards playing, right? So they should have
Yeah.
the full squad. They're playing a depleted OKC team on the second of the back-to-back. That should be a comfortable win, and we probably won't see full minutes for any of these Wolves guys as a result. So would tread a little carefully in the spot if they're at relatively full strength.
Yeah, and OKC has not filed yet, so that's something to keep an eye on there. Probably going to be Darius Baisley guarding Cat, Roby guarding, assuming Roby could play in the back-to-back guarding Vando. I think Aaron Wiggins is going to get D'Lo, so you're looking at a really good spot for
Yeah,
Ant Edwards in his return against Shea or Trey Mann. So yeah, really, and I think Shea would probably get Beverly, and they probably throw Trey Mann on Ant. So yeah, I mean, I think Ant's like I hope his price is down, but man, Cat's just killing it right now.
yeah,
And I'll add to like it's I talked about OKC protecting the paint. Cat doesn't care. Cat could just do everything. He's like I always say he's like a guard in a center's body. But yeah, I'm with you. This game could get really ugly. I actually think this game might be a bigger blowout than the crazy Jazz spread,
yeah.
which we'll get to. But so OKC, anything you want to look out besides maybe the random Shea rest stuff?
Yeah, maybe keep an eye on Roby. We'll see.
Hmm.
Too. I think SGA will play. He played the
Yep.
last back to back. I don't think he's at a rest spot. They're bad. They can just manage his minutes if they get blown out again. So yeah, I would expect them to be relatively full strength, especially with half their team going under the knife and getting season-ending surgery the other day.
Yeah, man. What an interesting like development. It's like, oh yeah, we're getting all these guys getting Dank called it a season ending surgery party.
Yeah.
Um so Bulls, Vooch. Billy Donovan said that Vooch was playing through this hammy thing. They were hoping it was gonna get better. It didn't. It's a hamstring, that's always a concerning thing. I don't feel great about Vooch playing today. What about you?
I'm more neutral. So the
Hmm.
comments leading in were favorable. So on
Hmm.
Sunday, Donovan said that Vooch was likely to play on Monday. And then on Monday, he was a game time decision before being
Hmm.
ruled out. And then uh, that morning, Donovan said it wasn't a serious injury either. So, we'll see. I think there's a decent chance that he ends up playing. Not too concerned. Maybe they are
Hmm.
a little cautious and hold him out. But yeah, if he ends up being ruled out again, we should see another start for Tristan Thompson. Went 13-9 in 29 minutes, and then we saw the Bulls go small for 13 minutes, I believe. The non-Tristan Bradley minutes out there. Javonte Green was, I think, the biggest standout for me, just in terms of what we saw in the box score. Got all the way up to 36.5 minutes. The problem with Javonte, though, not really good on the per minute. I think out of like
Hmm.
450 players this season, he's like 350th in per 36 value. So, the minutes are great to see for him, but what he does in those minutes is a completely different thing. We kind of saw, we expected. Levine 31% usage, DeRozan 28% usage. I think as the starters, the guy that benefited the most in terms of usage was Io. usually around like a 13-14% guy in the season. Got all the way up to 21% usage in that game without Vooch. So yeah, that's kind of what we saw without Vooch. What do you think about them in this matchup? Any guys in particular that stand out to you?
I think Levine. Levine's gonna probably see a lot of Cade on the other side. Well, Demar gets a combination of Grant and I mean even Sadiq Bey doesn't really concern me either. So I think Levine's the guy I want to go with over DeRozan. I'm not really like I thought Io didn't really look like himself. He and Vooch have like a really good chemistry, so I probably wouldn't go there, despite how I kind of like the matchup with Corey Joseph probably getting a ton of minutes. Talk about that in a second.
Hmm.
But yeah, you can't really go there on Tristan. I feel like, and they could
Yeah,
get away going smaller here for sure.
yeah, totally.
Against Marvin Bagley and Kelly Olynyk. I guess that should bring us to Detroit. Obviously, Isaiah Stewart's going to miss at least a week with a bone bruise. Also have Killian Hayes pulled a groin muscle late in the game. They did just call up Saban Lee this morning, so they're definitely covering their bases there. Do you think Marvin Bagley starts? What kind of minutes are we looking at? Obviously, it's a really good matchup, man. The Bulls are really, really bad on the inside.
Yeah, so Bagley started the second half, and we saw Bagley Olynyk splits the second half center minutes. Bagley played 16, Olynyk played 8. I think that's a fairly reasonable split to expect Bagley to start again and play, probably around 30, maybe a little bit more in terms of minutes. Yeah, and we saw this Bulls team on the other side. They're sputtering big time. They've lost 5 straight, 27th defensive rating their last 15 games. Continue to be a total mess without Lonzo, Caruso, and some of these other guys that they're missing on the defensive end. And yeah, Bagley, I think he's top 45 in qualified point paints per 100 possessions. He loves scoring in the paint, and the Bulls allow the 7th most points this season. So this could be a really good spot for Marvin Bagley. Assuming he gets to start. And yeah, I don't really have much faith in this Bulls defense the way this is going. This could be a pretty juicy spot just overall, just given how bad the Bulls defense is playing, and the Pistons on the other side trading their kind of rimish protector and Isaiah Stewart for a total of 0 on defense and Marvin Bagley. So yeah, I think this game environment is just great all around.
Yeah, totally agree. And I'll add on Cade. Cade is clicking. I mean, he is like the light bulbs has gone off since the break. Last 4 games, he's at 20 drives per game. That's an outrageous number for a rookie. His touch time's almost 8 minutes. He's been playing more, but I mean, he is just absolutely taking over as an alpha on this offense in a matchup that I really, really like for him. So I'm big time in on Cade today. Yeah, I'm with you. I think Bagley could, I don't know what his price is, but he could definitely put up a huge number here. Yeah, definitely. I think we're good there. Moving on to what we thought was going to be the big news of the day. That was a long time ago. Jimmy Butler. What is it? A sinus illness?
Sinus congestion.
Yeah, sinus congestion. Interesting.
Yeah.
So, yeah. What's I mean, we obviously don't have a read on it, but I mean,
yeah, sinus congestion doesn't seem severe enough to be too concerned. Jimmy usually plays for this stuff, so I think if I had to guess, I'd maybe a little bit more on the probable side of the Q tag, but we'll see. Late morning ad, same day ad is generally a negative, but yeah, we've seen Jimmy miss games, so I don't know. I don't have a really strong conviction on this, so we would expect Max Strus to start if Butler ends up missing time, and yeah, Strus. I think he started 10 games this season, averaging like 18, 4, and 2 with 5 threes a game in those starts. So he's been pretty solid as a starter overall. Yeah, I mean, in terms of beneficiaries in those games Jimmy has missed, it's been mostly like Strus and Kyle Lowry, and maybe a little PJ Tucker and Caleb Martin kind of trickle effect as well. So yeah, if let's kind of cover this both ways quickly. So Jimmy plays. Who are you interested in? If Jimmy sits, who are you interested in?
Yeah, I'm seeing how good my memory is, but I think I think he sat against Phoenix earlier, and like Lowry went ridiculous, if I remember. How good is my memory? Yes, it is good. He had 13 assists because we had his under in that one. So yeah, as you mentioned, like Lowry will just dominate the ball, and that would also mean the bad news is he's certainly getting Mikal. So we got to actually. Mikal was on the injury report too. That's good to note. But yeah, I think that as you mentioned, like Bam, Hero, those guys all affect. I definitely think Max Drew starts. So I'm pretty much agree with everything you said there. Do you want to hit the Booker side real quick?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, so we got Devin Booker. It sounds like he's going to play according to Shams Charania.
Yep.
Traveled, only missed 4 games, a week to the day. That's not concerning, I don't think. So we're taking like a minute off his normal. I think he plays pretty full in a pretty big matchup, obviously. But are you expecting? Do you agree with me on Booker being like kind of looking like his old self here?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think it, if anything, it affects his ceiling in terms of minutes. You're not going to
Hmm.
get like a 40-minute Booker game most likely, but I think it close a minute off his average. I think is definitely reasonable.
Hmm.
I don't know. We'll hear something maybe on a potential minutes limit or not for
Yeah.
Monty 3 games. Just haven't heard anything yet. So yeah, we've seen usage rates last 4 games. Booker's missed. Campaign 27, Cam Johnson 25, and DeAndre Ayton 23. No Cam
Mhm.
Johnson today, which kind of thins them out a
Yeah.
little bit as well. So Landry Shaman, a guy who probably takes a huge hit in minutes with Cam
Hmm.
Johnson, should still see decent minutes. Even with Booker back, with Cam Johnson still out. So, yeah, this is a brutal matchup though against one of the
Yeah.
league's best defenses in Miami. Heat starting 5, assuming Jimmy goes, 97.5 defensive rating this season.
Mhm.
So, I think Campaign still gets there on assists. I like that spot for him. I think Booker, definitely more of a GPP play. I think he can still have a good game, but I'm
Mhm.
definitely a little bit more worried about his ceiling in
Mhm.
this matchup, and potentially with his minutes not getting up there. So yeah, a little wary about getting too involved in the Suns spot though against Miami on this biggest slate.
Yeah, pretty much agree. DeAndre Ayton actually went off on the Bucks. He's been getting more touches, but now that you got Booker back, those are going to go away. So his ceiling kind of gets cut down significantly. Yeah, I'm with you on Cameron Payne, man. His assists have been crazy. He has like 19
Great.
potential assists. Yeah, he has more assists in the last 4 starts than Chris Paul has, and he's playing like 4 fewer minutes. It's just ridiculous, man. Like, side
Yeah,
note, like Monty, like if you just want to dump money and get like a little bit of profit, like just bet Monty Williams to win Coach of the Year. Like it's like sewn up right now. It's like what -300. It's probably more than -300 now.
OKC just released your injury report. Trey Man out.
Oh baby.
Derek Favors out. Okay. Yeah. I don't know. I think that's it.
Okay. Okay. Cool. So I guess it's the circle to them really quick. If that's cool. I think
Yeah.
we kind of covered the Suns. Yeah. So we mentioned you nailed it. Yeah. So this means Poku starting. Yes.
Yes.
Poku starting. Yeah. Poku starting. Big talk up from Mark Dagnall talking how strong he is and how much smarter he is.
Mm.
He's been playing pretty well, man.
Yeah.
I think Poku could be interesting. They definitely need the size. So yeah, I think Poku could get like 30 minutes in the spot.
For sure, for sure. Yeah, they're pretty thin behind him. Like Lindy Waters had
Yeah.
to play 25 minutes last night. Like you mentioned, this spread is pretty one sided already. So yeah, I don't have too much interest. I think Poku's fine. Um, what do you think about SGA?
Yeah, I think it's fine. I think if I played him in DFS, I'd want to have a wolf on the other end. He like played what a lot like the game we mentioned.
Yes,
He
he
like
played
had a good
30,
game.
7 and 5. Like before
Yeah,
that, he played the Wolves twice and was really limited. I think
yeah,
the 2 games before that, he averaged like 15.5 points
yep,
on 34% shooting. We were a little concerned about that spot because of, Pat Bev and McDaniels and the length they
yep,
can throw at him, kind of shutting down, those driving lanes a little bit. But he showed up big time in that spot,
yeah.
even with them getting blown out. So um, yeah, the problem though is that he went off, but only played like 30 minutes because of the blowout, which definitely could be the case tonight in the second leg of a back to back.
Yeah. Look at these game logs, man. Like, God, 33, 33, 33, 29, 37, 36, 30. Like, my man is just
He's
wrecking everyone.
he's a lot. He's been a lock for like 35-40%
Yeah,
usage every night since he came
yeah,
back from the injury.
yeah. Like, Suns smashed them. These teams suck. Indiana, Sacramento, Denver's kind of okay, but Minnesota, we mentioned they're good. Utah, they're bad now.
Used to
But
be good.
yeah, they used to be good. They're 21st
Milwaukee
and
used to be good too.
yeah, dude. How is side note, and don't want to spend too much time. Why is Rudy Gobert favorite for Defensive Player of the Year? I don't get it. Like, he doesn't deserve it. I think he's great. I think he's awesome, but Utah's
Yeah,
defense sucks.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
they've been terrible defensively since
yeah,
he came back.
yeah. 19th in defensive rating in 2022. Like most, there was only some of that was with Gobert. Even with Gobert on the floor, they're like they're rated about equally to like the 20th ranked team. So
Mhm.
it's not just the Gobert stuff. Okay, sorry, quick vent. Back on track here to speaking of you. Oh, let's stick with that. I guess that was a good transition by accident. Anthony Simons questionable for this crazy spread. Mentioned it's a 18-point spread right now in Utah. Um, what's our expectation on Simons after missing the last game?
Yeah, not a ton of information. Do you have any sort of lean on his potential availability?
Nah, we saw him get hurt in that Minnesota game, the one 2 games ago. Um, and like they played Minnesota twice, I think. So he just banged his leg and like didn't he looked fine when he was playing, but so yeah, I don't have
I
much
mean,
of a read.
they're in obviously full tank mode. You just look at their roster and who they're
Yeah,
playing. So I don't think they're like any like real urgency to
yeah.
rush him if he's not healthy, right? So that's a bit of concern, obviously, in these spots where if a guy is really truly 50-50, maybe they just hold him
Hmm.
out and just be cautious. Because they obviously have nothing to play for. I will say though, I agree with you. I don't think the Jazz should be 18-point favorites against anybody, even against the Street League
Hmm.
squad. Just given how bad they've been defensively.
Yeah,
We mentioned this earlier. Since Gobert returned, he's played 7 full games, 8 partial games, but in those 7 full games, they're 27th in defensive rating. The Jazz are at
crazy.
118. So yeah, if Ant's out again, are we going back to or not going back, but are we going to the
Mhm.
Brandon Williams? Well, he started for
Yep.
Ant, put up 27 and 8 in 33 and a half minutes. Last game. It'd probably be if Ant's out, you think it's Williams, Hart, Ellaby, Eubanks, and either Trenton Watford or Elijah Hughes. I think for that last starting spot.
I think Hughes. Yeah, I think it makes revenge game too for Hughes.
Oh, that's right. That's
Um, so
very
yeah,
good.
I think Hughes. I think Hughes is the guy. I think it was more of a matchup thing against Vanderbilt and Towns going big there. So I'd be pretty surprised if it's not Elijah Hughes. Yeah, I think you pretty much. I'm definitely down for Brandon Williams. Like we've been saying, I have no concerns about this Jazz defense anymore. They're just terrible right now. I
Would go
mentioned in
Josh
matchup.
would go Josh
Yeah,
Hart.
Josh Hart.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hart could be. He was terrible in the last game. I mentioned in matchups the Jazz are playing the saxophone on defense right now. Um, bad puns alert, but yeah, I think we kind of summed it up. So, and I'll add if Simons is playing, I'm taking the points on the Blazers. Like
Yeah,
18
I
points.
agree.
Come on, how bad could it be? Shout out to
I agree.
Wiggins. Moving on to a bet that did you take Dallas?
I did. I did. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we put it in our Discord. So if there's still some 8.5s out there for Dallas minus 8.5, I would take it because the Knicks are potentially real thin.
Mhm.
Mitch did not go through shoot around. He's ill. We saw him start the last game get pulled. Not a great sign not going through shoot around. They're just so undermanned right now. Dallas is playing well. Dallas is gonna be pretty healthy here. Where are we at on the Knicks? I'll throw out a bit more. Tibbs said he doesn't know if it's going to be Jericho Sims or Taj Gibson starting against frickin' Luca.
Yeah. I don't really have many takeaways, honestly. I don't think you're really playing much of anybody
Mm-hmm.
on the Knicks side. Definitely not Julius Randle against DFS. I have a ton of respect for DFS. Um, I guess if you want to get cute with, you can go to RJ, but with this big a slate, I don't think you really need to. And
No.
I do think there is definitely blowout risk in this one, especially if
Mm.
Mitch Robinson ends up sitting. Like you're you're putting Taj and Jericho Sims out there. Maybe some
Mm-hmm.
Julius Randle at the 5. I don't love this spot at all for the Knicks.
Yeah.
I'm not enthusiastic about really going to anybody.
Yeah. Quickly's been playing pretty well. Not having Cam Reddish is also like that's something. They're like there's a pretty good bull case to make for them, particularly RJ because his usage has been so good. I think Dwayne Finney-Smith gets the Randall matchup, and then Reggie Bullock gets RJ, so it's a better matchup for him relative. So I think RJ could maybe do some work just on pure volume, but as we've alluded to, Dallas's defense is good. You know, they're like
Yeah.
top 3 in most defensive categories in 2022. So
Yep.
yeah, I think Dallas just wrecks them. Just sticking with that game too, Jalen Brunson. I think it was just managed because he hurt his foot 2 games ago and then played when Lucas sat and then
Yep.
sat the next game. So that's kind of my read on it. So he's a
He
good
got
to
upgraded,
go.
he got upgraded to probable
Yep.
too, and obviously, they have the luxury now with Spencer Dinwiddie. When either Luka or Jalen Brunson's out, they can just slot him right back in, and he can play big minutes. Obviously, he's been a starter, previously. So yeah, I think they'll have their full squad back, and with
Yeah.
Dinwiddie back to the bench.
Yeah, man, they match up so well against the Knicks. I'm already figuring out how to spend. I might buy a nice new pair of sneakers with the money I'm making tonight. Moving on, we covered the Killian. I mean, we've kind of covered Killian just quickly.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
what's up? What's the upside in minutes on Corey Joseph in a good matchup?
It's if they do get Hamidou Diallo back too, he's off the injury report, so that's definitely another
Yeah.
depth piece that they have. Joseph's his minutes have just been very up and down, right? Like,
Mhm.
he can play 20 minutes as starter, he can play, low 30s as starter. It's tough to tell. Do you have any, sort of read on, a tighter range of what you think his minutes will be in the spot?
I think it's because Killian was playing pretty well.
He
Like
was,
Killian,
yeah.
they put him on defense. We saw Killian play. Trey Young, he picked up a lot of that defensive assignment and limited him at times. So that's probably the reason. So I think if Killian's out, I think Corey Joseph's probably got a shot at like upper 20s as like the low side. I mean, if he's playing well, they could really run him up there. But yep. All right, so I think that kind of covers that one. We better just fly through the rest of these. Grayson Allen's back.
Yeah.
So bye bye Jordan Nwora.
Nora got, dude, there was a 30-point blowout, and he played 38
Yep.
minutes, like crazy.
Yep, we were talking about him pretty much on this show and on a DFS show, and he kind of
He
sucked.
got it a little bit. It's
Yeah, but with the
relatively,
playing time, yeah.
yeah, yeah,
So I mean, he comes in. That's pretty much. I think Noir is still like okay, but
yeah. I
obviously,
mean, their depth pieces aren't that good. Like, they're playing Javon
yeah,
Carter and DeAndre Bembry, where they're two like main, guard wing depth. Last game it's not great.
yeah. And I think he'll pick up a lot of that run because Budenholzer said he played the best game of his life against the Suns when he played like the full fourth.
Yeah,
Covers that. We covered everything. Oh, Brandon Ingram out again. How? First of all, what are you spending your CJ McCollum money on? Anything fun? And then, are we doing it again?
I'm moving the CJ McCollum money over to the Mavs tonight. That's what I'm
There you go. I love it. That's
going
that's
back.
what I did with I did my Anthony Simons money from over the weekend and put it on something. So that's the way to
Yeah.
do it.
I managed to fly under the radar for like 2 months at FanDuel, but just got
Yeah.
the limit hammer just came down hard on me last week.
Miami got you.
Yeah, my limits are like 20% of what they used to be, so not.
Oh, gross.
But yeah, so we will see. Yeah, obviously a great spot for McCollum. Anybody else here that on the Pelican side you're interested in?
No, I think that's a bad matchup with Valanciunas. I think Devontae Graham's sneaky. He kind of was bad yesterday. He got a little bit of garbage time to buoy him a little bit. But yeah, CJ McCollum is going to be lamping in the Hamptons for sure. Like RJ Hampton he'll be getting wrecked all night. We're not expecting Suggs to play. I kind of skipped over that.
Yeah,
No Markel Fultz. So yeah, I think CJ McCollum, like RJ Hampton's like a really aggressive defender, and like CJ McCollum kills dudes like that. So yeah,
yeah.
we are going to be betting CJ McCollum ladders
It
again
was
this year.
pretty nice to get there on the McCollum props at halftime, I must say.
Baby, yeah, so good, man. Yeah,
Uh,
most of them I was like plus 250 for like 23 points and like 6 assists. Like God, that was
let's
such
cover
such.
let's
Thank
cover
you.
real quick on the other side, with
Yeah,
Magic. That's a team we hadn't touched yet. So Suggs
yeah.
questionable. Second, they have back to back for the Magic. Markel Fultz out. RJ Hampton started the last 2 games. Suggs has missed. He's been pretty underwhelming, like 18 FanDuel
Mhm.
points per game in like 29 minutes. They have some depth pieces with Gary Harris and Terrence Ross off the bench if they need it. If this was a different matchup, I'd be interested in Cole Anthony,
Mhm.
especially if Suggs and Fultz are out, because that minute ceiling could be really nice in this
Mhm.
spot. I think he could still be okay and kind of get there on minutes, but he probably gets the Herb Jones assignment, which
Yep.
is obviously a stay away. He's probably like a top 5 perimeter defender in my opinion
Mhm.
as a
Yep.
rookie, which is just obscene. So yeah, I mean, probably look towards the front court. I would say for the scoring. If Herb's on Cole, it's might be like a Franz Wagner, Wendell Carter Jr. game.
Yep.
What do you think about the Magic side of this? They're +8. They're 8-point dogs without
Yeah.
Ingram, which tells you a lot.
Yeah, I bet that. I bet +8.5. I think Wendell Carter Jr. kind of goes ham here. He doesn't have like the ceiling most of the time, but as you kind of alluded to, like Herb taking Cole Anthony out of the picture, like just takes. I literally, when I kind of shortcutted matchups today, when I was writing up Cole Anthony, I literally wrote Cole Anthony gets Herb. So nope, don't like that.
Yeah.
Definitely out on Anthony in a big way. So yeah, I think Wendell could do some damage. JV's been he'll probably get a little bit of a mixture of even Tony Snell on him too if they start him again. So yeah, I think Wendell's in a really big spot here relative to the lower ceiling we've seen out of him. And yeah, I think Franz Wagner, who's been like pulling up his game logs and stuff real quick, he's been like just so.
Mhm.
But he could definitely pop off here, I think.
Agreed.
And yeah, he lit up Indiana, but everyone lit up Indiana.
Yeah.
Okay. Think what else? What did I miss? We got Kristaps. As we saw that Papine's going to play today.
Yeah.
What did he play? 22 minutes in the last game. So what kind of minute? I think I wrote 26. I think it's a good expectation today. You with me on that?
Yep, I think that's right.
Yeah.
They
there's still a good team to attack.
A good amount of front court body, so they can kind of
Yeah.
ramp him up a little bit slowly.
Yeah, he had a dream matchup against the Pacers. Not as great tonight against the Clippers, but still a pretty good one. What do you what are the Clippers going to do to us tonight to make us angry? Injury report.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I'm prepared for anything at this point.
Yeah. Marcus Morris, probably the most likely of the randos, or Nick Batum would be number 2.
I would say Nick Batum.
Yeah, they got freaking wrecked last night. Man, Terrence Mann was just so bad.
He ran bad.
How terrible he was. Yeah,
I mean, you look canceled out a little bit. You ran bad with the Terrence Mann, but ran a little good with the Zubac and the blowout. Though the minutes the minutes downside was correct, but it's just getting the good side of the hook there was felt good.
Yeah, for sure. All right, I think we said it all. What did I miss? I think we got everything. Jalen McDaniels. Who cares? I think we got it. Yeah. All right, you on the news streets for Underdog today?
Yeah. Run the feed from like 1 to 5 Eastern. So Mountain Time.
Let's go. I'm gonna take 30 minutes to, I don't even know what I'm gonna do, but just to clear my head, and then for this madness night, it should be fun. So thank you so much, man. Filling in the last minute for Dink. You're the best. We always love having you on, so really appreciate it. Everyone obviously checks out Underdog for fantasy. Is there anyone who doesn't like follow him on alerts? Like, what the hell? So it's so good. All right. So again, thank you so much. Thank everyone for listening, and we'll catch you guys next time.